Hi everyone, welcome back. Here's your daily word tonic. Today, I want to share something truly uplifting and empowering with you. Let's dive into how God's power shines in our weakest moments. Have you ever felt like your weaknesses disqualify you from being strong? Well, let's flip that script with a powerful scripture from 2 Corinthians 12:9. Paul writes, "But he said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness.' Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me." Think about that for a second. Weakness isn't something to hide or be ashamed of. In fact, Paul tells us that it is precisely in our weakness that God's power is perfected. That's radical. Let's break it down. Paul had a thorn in the flesh and pleaded with God to remove it. But God didn't take it away. Instead, he said, "My grace is sufficient for you." This means that instead of removing Paul's struggle, God gave him the strength to endure and thrive through it. Under the new covenant, our strength isn't about physical might or external victories. It's about our dependence on God. Look at Jesus. In his moment of greatest weakness on the cross, he achieved the greatest victory. His resurrection shows us that God's power isn't hindered by human frailty, but is magnified through it. So how do we apply this in our lives? Here are a few steps to help you experience God's strength in your weakest moments. First, weakness isn't failure. It's an invitation to experience God's grace. When you feel overwhelmed or inadequate, bring those feelings to God. Let His strength work in you. Second, the new covenant is built on grace, not self-sufficiency. Instead of pushing through difficulties in your own strength, lean into God's power. Ask Him to carry you where you cannot walk on your own. Third, Paul didn't just accept his weakness, he boasted in it because it made space for God's power. Instead of resenting difficult seasons, declare, "Lord, your strength is at work in me." Lastly, remember, Jesus has already overcome every weakness, every struggle, and every limitation. When you feel powerless, remember that the same Spirit who raised Jesus from the dead lives in you. You are never alone in your struggles. Let's close with a prayer. Thank you for watching. Remember, in your weakest moments, God's strength shines the brightest. If you found this message uplifting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs encouragement today. God bless you.